Hi, this is Davis Pearson.
And this is Cameron Baining.
And you're listening to The Darnedest Things, a show about becoming fascinated with the world again.
So imagine this. A kid comes up to you and they're dragging their feet because their shoelaces aren't tied.
Can you tie my shoes?
So, as the responsible adult, you lean down and begin tying their shoes. Over, under, around, and through. Meet Mr. Bunny Rabbit, pull, and through. All done. You go to send them off, but before they leave...
What's that?
They're pointing at that plastic piece at the end of the shoelace. Oh, that's an aglet, you say. You only remember thanks to Phineas and Ferb. A-G-L-E-D. Don't forget it. A-G-L-E-D. Don't forget it. Once again, you try and send them off, but before you can...
Where does it come from?
Kids just ask the darndest things. This one you don't know. You've just never thought about it. Probably because, as an adult, we're caught up on more pressing matters. We're not as curious.
Kids are full of questions like this, and these are the kinds of questions that we want to take and explore.
So, where do aglets come from? Well, the word aglet, like a lot of English words, comes from a Latin word, acus, which means needle, specifically a needle that's clamped to the end of a string. Nowadays, an aglet is a piece of plastic or metal at the end of a shoelace. The purpose is to keep the laces from fraying and unraveling, and increasing the lifespan of the laces.
This functionality is surprisingly important. When I was a kid, I wouldn't often tie my shoes, and so I'd run around with my shoelaces being dragged through the dirt and getting caught on things. So, of course, one day, an aglet broke, or perhaps it just got yanked off. But I didn't realize how important it was until I tried to relace my shoe. The end of the shoelace had gotten so fluffy that I couldn't force it back through the eyelet of my shoe. So I got a little bit of Scotch tape and I wrapped it around the end in order to fit it through the hole. It worked once, but after that the tape just fell off. Aglets sure make a difference.
So better than Scotch tape?
Yeah, definitely. Legend has it that a man by the name of Harvey Kennedy invented and popularized the use of aglets on the modern shoelace in 1790. He made about $2.5 million on it, which is about $64 million today. However, there is some skepticism about how true the story is.
If you look up online like I did to try and find the history of the aglet, you're going to find more written about the controversy of the history of the aglet than the actual history itself. But from what I can tell, aglets likely started out as string tied to the end of larger ropes on a boat to keep it from fraying. Eventually, the same technique was used on smaller and smaller pieces of rope until really the string just wouldn't do anymore. This problem is likely what prompted Harvey Kennedy to invent the metal aglet.
Right. So these metal aglets are first attached using rollers and crimpers. And for a time, a cobbler would repair your shoelaces and not just your shoes. But that was over 50 years ago. And so nowadays, aglets are more like a piece of tape that's made of plastic.
Hey, that's just like what you used.
Yeah, exactly.
You must have been onto something.
I guess so. But they use acetate and not Scotch tape. So the acetate is rolled into a tube and fitted over the end of the shoelace. Then they use a combination of heat and chemicals, if you know the chemical acetone. It's the same stuff that's in nail polish remover. And they use that to melt the tape and permanently fuse it to the end of the shoelace. After it's cooled down, they cut off the excess plastic, and, well, you have yourself an aglet.
In future episodes, we're going to take a look at some of the darndest questions we can come up with. So if you're interested in joining us on this adventure, subscribe to our podcast. If you have questions of your own, send them to us. You can find us on our website, thedarnedestthings.com.
We're also available on Twitter. Our handle is @DavisandCameron, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, The Darnedest Things. Come on over, favorite, like, subscribe, comment, tweet, whatever it is. Just give us your crazy questions.
This has been episode 0, and we're already well into episode 1. Keep an eye out on our website for when we post it.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time on the Darnedest Things.